I just wanted to see the horses. That's what I told myself when I decided to go. Nothing more, nothing complicated. Just a quiet afternoon away from everything that had been weighing on me lately. My life had fallen into a rhythm that felt predictable. Wake up, go through the motions, smile when needed, stay quiet when it mattered. Days passed, but nothing really changed. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking myself if I was actually happy. It wasn't that anything was terribly wrong. On the outside, everything looked fine, stable, even comfortable. But inside, there was this quiet emptiness I couldn't explain. Like something important had slowly faded without me noticing. Or maybe I had just gotten used to ignoring it. That morning, I woke up with the same heaviness sitting on my chest. The kind that doesn't hurt exactly, but doesn't let you breathe freely either. I remember staring at the ceiling for a long time, wondering how life could feel so full and yet so hollow at the same time. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're living the life you're supposed to live, but it doesn't quite feel like yours anymore? I didn't have answers. I wasn't even sure I had the right questions. All I knew was that I needed to step away, even if just for a few hours. That's when I remembered hearing about Mr. Benedito's farm. People talked about it in simple ways, about the land, the quiet, and of course, the horses. There was nothing extraordinary about it, at least not on the surface. But something about the way they described it stayed with me. Peaceful, honest, different. Maybe that's what I was looking for. Something different. So I got in my car without overthinking it, before I could talk myself out of it, and started driving. The road stretched out ahead of me, long and quiet, with nothing but open land and sky surrounding it. For the first time in a while, I wasn't rushing. I wasn't checking the time. I was just going. And somehow, that alone felt unfamiliar. As the city slowly faded behind me, so did the noise in my head. Not completely, but enough for me to notice the silence again. Real silence. The kind that doesn't feel empty, but calm. I didn't know what I would find there. I didn't expect anything to change. I just wanted to see the horses. But some places, some moments, they don't ask for your expectations. They simply open a door. And once you step through it, there's no going back the same way you came. By the time I arrived, the sun had already softened. The road leading to the farm narrowed into a quiet path, surrounded by open fields that seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. There were no loud sounds, no rushing cars, no constant distractions, just the gentle whisper of the wind brushing through the grass. I slowed the car almost instinctively. It felt wrong to rush in a place like that. When I finally stepped out, the first thing I noticed wasn't what I saw, it was what I didn't hear. No noise. No pressure. Just stillness. The kind of stillness that makes you aware of everything you've been carrying inside. The place was silent, but inside me, everything was loud. My thoughts didn't disappear just because I had changed locations. If anything, they became clearer, harder to ignore. Doubts, questions, feelings I had been pushing aside. They all seemed to rise to the surface at once. For a moment, I just stood there, unsure of what to do next. Then I saw him. Mr. Benedito was standing near the wooden fence, his posture relaxed, as if he had all the time in the world. He wasn't doing anything in particular, just watching the horses in the distance. There was something about the way he stood there. Calm, grounded, completely present. It made me feel slightly out of place. He turned when he noticed me, his expression neutral but not unkind. There was no surprise in his eyes, no curiosity that felt intrusive, just a quiet acknowledgement, like he had expected someone to arrive eventually, even if he didn't know who. "You must be here for the horses," he said. His voice was steady, low, and unhurried. I nodded, suddenly aware of how small my reason sounded compared to the stillness around us. "Yes. I just wanted to see them." He studied me for a brief moment, not in a way that felt uncomfortable, but in a way that felt attentive, as if he was listening to something I hadn't said out loud. Then he gave a slight nod and gestured toward the open field. "They're over there. You can take your time." That was it. No questions. No unnecessary words. And somehow, that simplicity stayed with me. As I walked toward the fence, I could feel his presence behind me, not watching in a controlling way, but in a quiet, observant one. Like he understood that some things don't need to be rushed or explained. The horses moved freely across the field, their movements calm and natural, untouched by the kind of restlessness I carried inside me. Watching them, I felt something shift. Not fully, not completely, but enough to notice. It was strange. I had come here to look at something outside of me, but for the first time in a long while, I had the feeling that I was about to see something within. I stood by the fence for a while before I even realized how long I had been there. The horses moved with a quiet confidence, no hesitation, no second guessing. Every step they took felt natural, like they trusted the ground beneath them without needing to question it. I found myself watching closely, almost searching for something I couldn't quite name. They're not as simple as they look. His voice came from behind me, calm and steady. I turned slightly to see Mr. Benedito walking toward the fence, his steps unhurried. He rested his arms lightly against the wood, his eyes fixed on the horses like he had seen this scene 1,000 times, and still found something worth noticing. They don't just react, he continued. They respond. I frowned a little, trying to understand. What do you mean? He glanced at me briefly, then back at the field. They feel energy, intention, even the things you think you're hiding. There was a pause. The wind passed gently between us, carrying a stillness that felt heavier than silence. Horses feel what you try to hide, just like life does. Something about the way he said it made it land deeper than I expected. I looked back at the horses, but this time, I wasn't just observing them, I was aware of myself. Of the tension in my shoulders. Of the thoughts I kept locked away. Of the emotions I didn't allow myself to fully feel. You're thinking too much, he said quietly. I let out a small, almost embarrassed breath. Is it that obvious? He gave the faintest hint of a smile. Only if you know what to look for. We stood there for a moment, the space between us filled with something unspoken but not uncomfortable. It was different from the silence I was used to, the kind that felt empty. This one felt present. After a while, he nodded toward one of the horses grazing closer to the fence. Go ahead, he said. But don't rush it. I hesitated. I don't really know what to do. You don't need to, he replied. Just be clear with yourself before you step closer. Clear with myself. The words lingered as I slowly moved toward the horse. My steps were careful, uncertain at first. I reached out slightly, then paused, suddenly aware of how unsure I felt. Not just about the horse, but about everything. For a brief second, I considered stepping back. But then I noticed something. The horse had stopped moving. Its attention shifted, not in fear, not in resistance, but in awareness. It was watching me, quietly, like it was waiting for something more than just my presence. I took a slow breath. And for once, I didn't try to control what I was feeling. I didn't push anything away. I didn't pretend. I just stood there, honestly. Only then did I take another step forward. Behind me, I could feel Mr. Benedito's quiet presence. Not guiding, not interfering. Just there. Like he already knew this wasn't about the horse anymore. And maybe he was right. Because in that moment, it wasn't just about learning how to approach something outside of me. It was about learning how to face what I had been avoiding within. I don't know exactly when it started. Maybe it was the quiet. Or maybe it was the way he never rushed me. Mr. Benedito didn't ask questions the way most people do. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fill the silence with advice or assumptions. He just stood there, present, like he understood that some things take time to surface. And somehow, that made it harder to keep everything inside. I kept my eyes on the field at first, pretending I was still focused on the horses. But my thoughts had already shifted. They weren't out there anymore. They were here. You don't have to say anything, he said calmly, as if sensing the tension building in me. I let out a quiet breath. I know. But the truth was, I wanted to. It just felt unfamiliar. I hesitated, searching for the right words, but nothing sounded right in my head. How do you explain something you don't fully understand yourself? How do you put into words a feeling that has been quietly growing for so long? I think I started, then stopped. My voice felt heavier than I expected. I think I got used to being okay. He didn't react immediately. He didn't nod or question it. He just listened. And that gave me the space to continue. Not happy, not sad, just functioning. I swallowed lightly, my fingers tightening around the wooden fence. Like I learned how to live without really feeling much. The words came out slowly, but once they started, they didn't stop. I used to think that was normal. That maybe this is what life becomes after a while. Predictable, quiet, stable. I paused, my gaze drifting to the ground. But lately it just feels empty. Like something is missing, and I don't even know what it is. There was a long silence after that. But it wasn't uncomfortable. If anything, it felt like the first honest moment I'd had in a long time. I don't think anyone notices, I added softly. Or maybe I just got really good at hiding it. That was the part that stayed with me the most. Not the emptiness itself, but how invisible it had become. I finally looked up, unsure of what I would find in his expression. Judgment, maybe, or confusion. But there was none of that. Just understanding. Not the kind that comes from knowing details, but the kind that comes from recognizing a feeling. You'd be surprised, he said quietly. People notice more than you think. I frowned slightly. Then why does it feel like no one sees me? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked out toward the horses again, as if the answer wasn't something to rush. Because sometimes, he said slowly, we stop showing ourselves. Long before others stop looking. That hit deeper than I expected. I felt it settle somewhere inside me, uncomfortable but true. I opened my mouth to respond, but nothing came out. Because for the first time, I wasn't trying to explain myself anymore. I was just being honest. And strangely enough, that felt both terrifying and relieving at the same time. I was talking, I said quietly, almost to myself. And for the first time, someone was truly listening. The wind moved gently through the field again, and for a moment, everything felt still. Not empty, not heavy, just real. And maybe that was the beginning of something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in a very long time. Something shifted after that conversation. It wasn't obvious, not the kind of change you can point to and explain. But it was there, quietly settling beneath the surface. I felt it in the way I stood, in the way I breathed. Even in the way I looked at the horses. Or maybe more truthfully, in the way I started looking at myself. The rest of the afternoon unfolded slowly, almost intentionally. There was no rush, no pressure to move on to the next thing. Mr. Benedito showed me small things. Simple gestures that, on the surface, seemed to be about the horses. But they weren't just about that. Don't approach with doubt, he said as we walked closer to one of them. They feel hesitation before you even take a step. I paused, noticing how naturally he moved. There was no force in his actions, no need to prove control. Just clarity. How do you do that? I asked quietly. He glanced at me, then back at the horse. I don't try to control them, he said. I try to understand what I'm bringing with me. That stayed with me. What I'm bringing with me. I had never thought about it like that before. Not in life, not in relationships, not even in the way I carried myself through the world. I was always focused on what was happening around me, never on what I was quietly carrying inside. We spent time walking along the field, sometimes talking, sometimes just existing in silence. But it wasn't the same silence as before. This one felt shared. Alive. At one point, I found myself standing closer to him than I had before. Not intentionally, not with any clear reason. Just naturally, like the space between us had slowly disappeared without either of us noticing. It wasn't uncomfortable. But it wasn't nothing either. There was a quiet awareness there, subtle, unspoken. Not something that needed to be defined, but something that couldn't be ignored. I came to learn about horses, I said softly, almost smiling to myself. He looked at me, waiting. But I was learning about myself. He nodded once, like he had already known that would happen. That's usually how it goes, he replied. I let out a small breath, shaking my head slightly. I didn't expect any of this. You weren't supposed to, he said simply. There was something in the way he said it, not mysterious, not complicated, just certain. Like life doesn't always wait for us to be ready before it shows us